What are the things you absolutely need to know before deciding to move to Peachtree City? Let's talk about that. If you're a longtime viewer of our channel, you have undoubtedly heard about all of the great things in Peachtree City, from the 100 miles of golf cart paths to the award-winning schools. However, it is not all sunshine and rainbows. Here are 7 things that you need to know about Peachtree City before you decide to move here. Now, I'm not doing a pro or con list, as these 7 aspects of Peachtree City might be the reason you love it. You know, one person's trash is another person's treasure. Let's start with needing to follow the speed limit. In general, if you ask the folks around the Atlanta area what they think of when they think of Peachtree City, most will give you one of 2 answers: the golf cart pass, or that it's a speed trap. It's not just the number of speeding tickets issued in Peachtree City, but for the amount over the speed limit for which they are given. It's in stark contrast to other areas, especially driving around the interstates in metro Atlanta. If you are going anything less than 10 miles an hour up there, you better be in the right-hand lane, because you're apt to get run over by somebody doing 90 or 100. It's just crazy. However, when you're driving in Peachtree City, strictly following the speed limit is the only safe way to avoid getting a ticket. Everyone around here has heard stories of getting pulled over doing 5 or 6 miles an hour over the speed limit. Peachtree City is certainly a Sunday driver paradise. Talking about driving, the next item that you need to be aware of is the traffic. There are 2 main roads going through Peachtree City: 74 going north and south, and 54 going east and west. They intersect in the middle of the city, and it's not uncommon to have to sit at that light for a few rounds before you're able to get through. Additionally, if you're trying to go east or west down 54, you're most likely not only going to get caught at that light, but a bunch of other lights that flank it. If you listen to the locals, especially on the Facebook page, they make it sound like they're driving in Manhattan during rush hour. It really isn't that bad, but it can add a little bit of time to your driving. The next thing you need to be aware of is that the city has some strict regulations in its code of ordinance that are similar to a homeowners association. I'll put a link to the code of ordinance in the comments. Now, things that are in the code that read like an HOA restriction are that grass must be kept below 8 inches, no boats or RVs are allowed in the front of homes, fences longer than 50 feet or higher than 4 feet are regulated. In fact, there's almost 2,000 words in the ordinance that's dedicated to fencing alone. Additionally, it seems that keeping chickens has recently become a trendy pet habit, but you wouldn't be able to do that in Peachtree City, as they do not allow the keeping of traditional farm animals inside the city limits. The next thing you need to be aware of about Peachtree City before you're moving here relates to the housing market and the higher cost of housing. Peachtree City is at the very western part of Fayette County, and it actually borders KOCiB County, and we tend to look at those 2 counties as a single market. Now, looking at the homes that sold over the last 6 months in this market, the median cost of homes purchased in Peachtree City was about $550,000. And in the rest of KOCiB and Fayette, that number was $4,020. Of course, the median square footage bought in Peachtree City was about $2,720, and the rest of the area was about $2,500. So on average, homes are a little bit bigger in Peachtree City, but not near as large to compensate for the difference in the home prices. Essentially, you pay 30% more for a house that is about 9% bigger. That takes us to the next thing you need to know, which is, on average, you get a lot less land with your property in Peachtree City than you do in the surrounding areas. Looking at that same set of numbers, the median lot size in Peachtree City was a little less than 1/3 of an acre, while everything in the surrounding areas was about an acre. That probably more than anything, is the reason that Tonya and I decided to move just outside of Peachtree City into Tyrone, where we have an acre that has a completely private backyard. Now, if you are moving from a suburb of another major metropolitan area, these last two things you might really need to pay attention to. Don't get me wrong, Peachtree City has some fabulous stores and restaurants. However, it doesn't have some of the things that we were used to in the suburb of Houston that we moved from, or what can be found in some of the suburbs north of Atlanta. We miss certain things like Whole Foods, Macy's, IKEA, or the Apple Store. Additionally, if you're a Lowe's person, Peachtree City only has a Home Depot. If you want to go to Lowe's, you're driving to either Noonan or Fayetteville. The final thing to know is that there's no public transportation in Peachtree City. Now, that's not too surprising considering that the northern part of town is still 15 miles from the closest point of 285, which is the interstate that loops around Atlanta. I know a few commuters that will drive up to places like College Park to get on the MARTA system to go to work, so there is a workaround for commuting. I would be remiss if I didn't state again that Peachtree City has a lot going for it and is an absolute wonderful place to live for most people. However, if one of these points that we talked about in today's video is a major issue for you, Peachtree City might not be the place for you. As we've mentioned many times in many other videos, we have helped so many people that initially wanted to move to Peachtree City end up buying in the surrounding areas just like we did. If you're thinking of moving to Peachtree City, we would love to hear from you and help you determine if that would be the right move for you and your family. All of our contact information can be located in the description. I hope you found this video to be informative. If so, please consider subscribing to our channel. Also, check out this next video. Until next time, bye.